Good morning, all, and welcome back again to our science class. And we are in week 14 now, and our chapter 11, lesson 5 about tides. Textbook pages 498 to 501. So, objectives of our lesson to explain what causes tides. Before starting, have you ever built a sandcastle that got washed away by ocean? Yes, mostly we all. What do you think caused the sandcastle to wash away? Because of rising, or what you mean by tide? Sometimes we know that the sea level, the water level rise up or fall. This is we will call normally as tide. So, the force of gravity pulls the moon and earth, including the water on earth's surface, towards each other. Tides are caused mainly by difference in how much gravity from the moon and sun pull on different part of earth. So usually tides are because of the gravitational force of moon. Moons pull everything on the earth, but we know that comparing to other objects, water is easily pulled, that cause the tide. At any one time on earth, there are two places with a high tide and two places with low tide. As earth rotates, one high tide occurs on the side of earth that faces the moon. The second high tide occurs on the opposite side of earth. Halfway between the high tide, water flows towards the high tide, causing low tide. Here the picture you can see the moon. That side, because of moon's gravity, that side water will pull towards the moon, causing high tide, and opposite side also experience high tide. But up and down you can see that experience low tide because water flows towards the high tide. So at same time, two places will experience high tide and two places on earth experience low tide. The moon's gravity pull a little more strongly on water on the side of earth closest to moon than on earth as a whole. This difference causes a bulge of water on side of earth closest to the moon. The bulge causing high tide. Again you can see the picture. The moon pulling everything on earth, but the water we can see pull towards moon, that cause high tide. Okay. The moon's gravity pulls more weakly on water on the far side of earth than on earth as whole. Since earth is pulled more strongly, the water is left behind. Water flows towards the far side, causing high tide. The sun is so massive that even though it is about 150 million kilometers from earth, its gravity also affects the tide. The sun pulls the water on earth's surface towards it, changes the position of earth, moon and sun affect the height of tide during a month. Or what you mean by tide? Sometimes we know that the sea level, the water level rise up or fall. This is we will call normally as tide. So the force of gravity pulls the moon and earth, including the water on earth's surface, towards each other. Tides are caused mainly by difference in how much gravity from the moon and sun pull on different part of earth. So usually tides are because of the gravitational force of moon. Moons pull everything on. So During another stage, you can see during moon's first quarter, see the position of moon, sun and earth. So here you can see the line between earth and sun is at right angle to the line between earth and moon. The sun's pull is at right angle to moon's pull. Means here you can see the moon also pulling the water and the sun also pulling the water. The sun's pull is at right angle to moon's pull. This arrangement produces a neap tide, means a tide with least difference between consecutive low and high tide. Here you can see both. There is no too much high tide, and the neap tide occurs twice a month, first quarter and third quarter. Okay. So during moon's first quarter phase, the line between earth and sun is right angle to the line between earth and moon. The sun's pull at right angle to moon's pull. This arrangement produces a neap tide, a tide with least difference between consecutive low and high tide. Neap tide occurs month. Now you can see in the picture, at full moon the moon and sun are opposite side of earth. Since there are high tides on both sides of earth, a spring tide is also produced. It doesn't matter in which order the sun, earth and moon line up. Even sun, moon and earth line up, there will be spring tide, or sun, earth and moon this time also spring tide. But when it's come in a rectangle, you can see that time a neap tide. So in summary, we can say that tides are change in the level of oceans due to pull of moons and sun's gravity on earth. I have attached the videos about tide, neap tide and spring tide. Please watch it, and if you have any doubt, please ask through Zoom classes, or just type in Schoology your doubts and comments, and see you next time. Thank you all.